What's up, guys? Chris Marler here, and welcome into Big Picks Energy and our Week 3 best bets in the college football slate. Brought to you by our good friends at DraftKings. Make sure if you have not signed up for DraftKings, I don't know what you're doing. They're doing an incredible promotion to start the season. Click the link in our bio, our comment section, wherever you're seeing this, because they are giving away $200. All you do is just basically sign up, deposit, and bet $5. You get $200 back, which is an incredible deal. In this economy. So DraftKings doing the Lord's work. Click the link below and let's get right into it. So our best bets from the week 3 action, we're 14-4 on the season. We're going to try to stay hot. We went 7-3 a week ago. Here's what I like this weekend. Up first, USC -7 in the first half versus Fresno State. Now, why am I not taking the full game? I'm glad you asked. USC is playing Fresno State, who is 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 games versus ranked opponents. USC also is the second worst Power 5 team in the country over the last 5 years at covering the spread following a game where they won outright and covered the week before. So in situations like that, they are only 10-22-1. It's the second worst in all Power 5. I love USC's offense. I love what Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley have been able to do. They are averaging 33 points per game in the first half. That's why we're taking them in the first half. Fresno State, on the other hand, not been great in the first half necessarily. So we're going to take USC to cover 7. I don't like the full game. I also like the over a little bit here because it is 7-0 in the last 7 home games for USC and 19-6 in Fresno State's last 25 games versus the Pac-12. All right, your second pick of the week, A&M to cover 5. I hate 5 and 5.5 point spreads, but we are going to take A&M to bounce back in a big way against a ranked Miami team for a number of reasons. I tried my best to talk myself out of this, but the numbers don't lie. Jimbo Fisher is 10-3 as the head coach at A&M in games coming off a loss. 10-3, and also they are winning those games by over 10 points per game. Also, he's 7-1 all time versus Miami. The offense has been horrible. I mean, horrible so far this season. And I know what Miami has, especially at quarterback, but this A&M defense is still salty, even with the loss of defensive coordinator. They're ranked 3rd in the country in yards per attempt allowed. They're giving up less than 4 yards per attempt. I expect them to slow down Miami's offense. And also, when you look at Miami, they're ranked. They're ranked ahead of A&M. They're still an underdog. In their last 7 games as a ranked team, they are only 1-6 versus ranked opponents, straight up and against the spread. They lost all 6 of those games by double digits and by an average of 25.5 points per game. Take the Aggies, take them to bounce back in a big way. All right, this might be my favorite bet of the week. Florida to cover 7 points in the first quarter. I'm going to lose a couple people here because I know how bad Florida and Anthony Richardson looked a week ago in the swamp against Kentucky. That being said, South Florida is awful, and I don't mean just from like a people standpoint and Tampa. I mean the University of South Florida is awful at football, especially in the first half of games and especially early. They are getting outscored 35-0 in the first quarter this season. That's to the likes of BYU and Howard. I didn't even know Howard was a school. I thought Howard honestly was either maybe like the friend from Arthur or just a 45-year-old accountant from like Nebraska or something like that. Regardless, take Florida. They are not great in the last 9-10 games overall, especially against the spread. They're only 1-8. They played South Florida a year ago. They did not cover the spread because of the second half collapse. That's why we're going to take them early. Take Florida to cover the 7 points, and especially against the South Florida team, who is allowing opposing quarterbacks to complete 78% of their passes. It's the 3rd worst in all of college football. Take Florida in the first quarter. All right, 2 more. The next pick that I like here, Ole Miss, and I'm going to take Ole Miss maybe from between 1 to 5 different ways in the first half against Georgia Tech. Ole Miss at Georgia Tech, they're an 8.5 point favorite in the first half. Against the Georgia Tech team, that is awful. In any way you look at it, they're ranked 100 or worse in every single major category statistically on offense and defense. I think they're 80-something in rushing. That's it. They have been brutal, especially against the spread and especially under Jeff Collins. 10-25 against the spread under Jeff Collins. It's the worst in Power 5. They're also 1-8 in their last 9 games against the spread as well. Any which way you look at it, they have just been bad. They gave up 14 points in the first quarter to Western Carolina, the Catamounts. I mean, think about that. That is without a doubt the worst directional Carolina, and it's not even close. and they gave up 14 points in the first quarter to them a week ago. Take Ole Miss, who is outscoring opponents 52-3 in the first half of games so far this season. And also outscoring opponents 35-0 in the first quarter of games. You take that against a Georgia Tech team that was had the 9th worst scoring defense in the first half of games a year ago, and it hasn't gotten much better this year. Take Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss to cover the 8.5. I like them to win the first quarter as well and cover 3.5. I like them to score first, and I also like them to their team total in the first half over 20.5 points. I would take all of it because Georgia Tech is god awful. Alabama is a 49-point favorite against Louisiana Monroe. That's a revenge game, which is weird to say. But they are 4-10-1 in their last 15 games where they are a 45-plus point favorites. However, Louisiana Monroe is a very bad team early on in games. Bama's going to need to bounce back, especially after the week ago where the offense stalled. You saw 6 straight punts against Texas, which is unheard of in the Saban era. Take Bama -12 in the first quarter, and that's it. Don't touch anything else. Just take Bama -12 in the first quarter against Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Monroe is getting outscored 21-3 in the first quarter so far this season against Texas and Nicholls State. That's right. They were down a touchdown after the first last week to Nicholls State, and Bama is outscoring opponents 27-3. So there you go. All right. Here's some other bets I like as well. I love Georgia -14 in the first half. Every which way you look at it, they have dominated road games under Kirby Smart. They're 22-4 straight up in his 6 years there as a head coach. They're 5-1 against South Carolina. And in those 5 wins, they are winning by an average of 21 plus points per game. Again, 12-1 straight up and 10-3 against the spread in road games since 2019. And they're winning those games by an average of 26.5 points per game. South Carolina is bad, and they also have a lot of injuries. Take Georgia, take them early. I also like Tennessee in the first quarter because Akron is god awful. And also, they're a 40-plus point favorite, which is crazy to think after what Jeremy Pruitt tried to do to this program. That being said, I expect Hooker to leave early, which I've never said before because you pay him for the full hour, but he will be out by halftime because you have a big week ahead next week against Florida coming into Knoxville. 4 first teams to score first: Florida, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Hammer it. Mississippi State has been really good early on in games. In the first half of the season, 8 of their 11 total drives have ended in scores. 6 of those touchdowns, 2 of them were field goals. They've punted just once in the first half. LSU, they're at home. I'm not going to touch this full game, but I like Mississippi State early on in Death Valley before it gets dark. All right. Oklahoma -6 in the first half against Nebraska. Oklahoma is actually 0-4 in their last 4 games on the road against the spread. That being said, Nebraska doesn't have a coach. They don't have a defense. They're giving up 22 points per game in the first half. They got beat by Georgia Southern a week ago. They were giving up, I believe, they have outscored their opponents 52-49 in the first half of games. That's against North Dakota, not North Dakota State, the shitty North Dakota, and also Georgia Southern a week ago. So take Oklahoma to cover in the first half. It's only a touchdown spread. They will put that up and more against a really bad Nebraska team that needs to call Bo Pelini and apologize.